Hello, this is Ryan Cox. I'm the digital marketing consultant in the central region for the Dallas area. And today, Nissan field staff, we thank you for joining us. We're going to introduce you to the Nissan Active Buyer Referral Program. First, I'm going to hand it off to Rick Shaheen. Rick?
Hello, field staff. Next slide, please. Yeah, thank you. I'm going to be going over a couple slides here. Just a quick overview. NABR is a comprehensive interface that gives you many important KPIs to detect statistical patterns in opportunity management performance. We will take a look at some key reporting functions as we go through this presentation. This slide just tells you what NABR is, things you can do in it, who can make changes in NABR, and who can help you with any questions on NABR, which would be the digital marketing consultant team. Next slide, please. Okay, this is just simply where you access it. Real simple. You go in My Links, Dealer Operations, fifth one down, Nissan NABR program. I would put it in your favorites. Next slide, please. These are your primary tabs. So I'm just going to go over them real quickly. Sales, it's where you find your key KPIs that are sales driven. Leads, where you find your KPIs that are opportunity driven. And dealer tools, this is where the dealers set up the parameters based on dealer's individual operation. Next slide, please. And this is our certification. So you have a few criteria here. Make a long story short, I think the slide's self-explanatory. Close rate of above 5% is level 1, $20.50 a lead. Level 2 is 3% to 4.9%. Again, 2 people trained on NABR that have completed the certification. Price per lead is $24.50, and non-certified is under 3% or less than 2 people trained in a role, so it would be $27 per lead. With that, this concludes the overview section. I will move on to the Dallas DMC, Ryan Cox, and he'll go over the sales section.
Thanks, Rick. So the first section that you will notice when you come in to access the Sales tab, you will hover over the $ icon, and you'll select Sales. So the first tab will be the sales overview within the sales tab. And a couple of key components there is make sure that the date is correct on what you want it to be. Whenever you click on the 3 dots there, you will notice that it will bring up the help screen that will show you more information about each section. A little more detail. So we have the sales, which is literally your unit sales month over month or year over year. You have your sales from leads. This is a total number of sales from your NABR reported leads. Your lead contribution rate is what percentage of the leads is your store closing or the store closing that are digital leads. And then finally, the NABR close rate that Rick talked about. The NABR close rate is simply your total third-party close unit sales, your Nissan brand or your Nissan USA sales close divided by the amount of leads you received will give you your NABR close rate. So the next tab down from overview is your summary tab. And basically, how would a DOM or a dealer use this data? You can view the dealer based on national, regional, area, or district trends. And there are 3 key areas to focus on. One is average time to sale. The other is average missed opportunities. And then we have your NABR close rate. One I want to share with you is average missed opportunities. This is a real key component for you to take a look at with your stores. This shows you how many actual units that store missed out on by not being at that 5% NABR close rate. So this is a real good tool to use to drill that home, how many units they possibly missed. Next tab down from summary is your sales source tab. And basically, the sales source tab would be utilized to see the quantity of sales, total lead count, and close rate for each lead source being tracked in NABR. This is a great resource for a quick glance on which lead sources of your stores are best performing and what lead sources that store needs training on to maximize close rates. So an example, if you look at dealer-generated leads, those are walk-in or phone-up leads. If they have a high close rate, but you're noticing all the digital leads have low close rates, that's a time for your DMC to be brought in to help that store with close rate best practices. Finally, a couple of other areas you can look at from a DOM perspective. The sales source, you can use this for targeted marketing opportunities. what you want to look at is this dealer taking the opportunity in this example to showcase the Versa? It has a 13.2 day average time to sale. So let's take a look at that before we go into the store and see, is that dealer putting the Versa on their website to get it moving quicker? Finally is the Vehicle Performance tab below the Source tab that we discussed. In my opinion, it's the most underutilized tool for both DOM and dealer. This report can easily really help a dealer understand their model trends and conversion in a different light. DOMs can use this intel to help with incentives and inventory control. Pretty straightforward, showing you how each model is moving. And another more detail about the vehicle performance that we can expand on, you can identify opportunities based on sales from leads, and you can identify opportunities based on lead contribution rate. And so for this example, we know that the Altima, Sentra, and Rogue are your top selling models with most stores, but when we look at the Frontier, Altima, or Frontier and Kicks, for example, are they converting the way they should be? And we could identify also some opportunities with lead contribution rate. And that would be, in this example here, taking a look at the average time to sale and consideration. Can we make a strong case for the Versa, Maxima, and Rogue Sport when it comes to wholesale decisions? Next, we're going to talk about the NABR Leads tab with Nick Brown. Nick?
Hey, thanks, Ryan. That was really great info. Hello, all. My name is Nick Brown, and I am the DMC for the KCI area, that being Districts 4, 5, and 6. I will be discussing the Leads tab with you today. So, next slide, please. So, accessing the Leads tab. To access the Leads tab, you will follow the same steps in navigating the Sales tab. However, you will select the People icon as opposed to the $ icon. Now, once the Leads tab is opened, it will automatically default to your region, in this case, the Central region for the DOM. Now, please note, upon opening this tab from the dealer's view, it will automatically default to their dealership. From this page, you can also perform a quick search on your end by typing in the dealer code for a particular dealership, which is located directly below the region section. The lead section will also allow you to search or view the following. You have your source types, examples being third-party, brand, neighbor leads. You have your lead types, anywhere from new sales, which is what you would want to focus on, but you're also able to view used and CPO. And then you have your model leads as well. This is the area where you're able to view leads that were received per model. Next slide, please. All right, so we got the leads trends. So the leads trends graph is filtered by the following. You have your lead type, a couple examples being your total sales leads, those being third-party dealer generated. And then you also have your appointment rate, response rate, and your response time. Now, in this example, the graph is automatically filtered by total sales leads and appointment rate. But please remember, you are able to adjust the graph to your preference. At the bottom of the graph, you will also notice there is a date range, which you can adjust to your preference, that being either filtering it by monthly, annually, and to be able to view the trends from, again, that month-over-month or year-over-year trends. Next slide, please. Next, we're going to focus on the lead summary details page. Now, the lead summary details page is located directly under the trends graph we just went over. The summary details page can be filtered, again, as all, month over month, year over year, and you can view the trend, which is allowing you to adjust to your preference. A few examples of what lead summary details page provides. Analytics for are digital retailing leads, response rate, your average response rate, and your average appointment rate. Now, these are important analytics to become familiar with, as they allow you the ability to investigate in further detail the responses and actions being taken, along with comparing previous time periods, again, that being month over month or year over year. Next slide, please. Finally, we have your transactions page. Now, this is a page that I find to be valuable and informational. The transaction page can also be known as your lead list, as you are able to view each lead transaction by selecting the Transactions tab. Now, the transactions or lead list can be sorted by lead date and lead source. I like this page as it provides a detailed view of each lead. Examples being you got the customer's name, the city it was submitted, what model were they looking at, what was the lead response, and when was the time of submission. It can also provide you with the sales data that is working the lead. The reason I find the transaction tab important and why you should become familiar with that is that you are able to compare the neighbor leads to help ensure accuracy and response in comparison to the CRM. Now, as a Don, you're also able to view these quickly and accurately without access to the CRM. And with that said, I will kick this over to Peter Salfadera, the Dallas DNC.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Peter Salfadera. I'm the digital marketing consultant for the Dallas area. We'll go over the NABR Dealer Tools tabs. Next slide. From the main navigation screen, hover over the car icon to select the Dealer Tools. The Dealer Tools tab is the third option down on the sidebar menu. Next screen. In the Dealer Tools, you can make changes to some of your dealership information in the Dealer Information section, also titled Dealer Information. Underlined items such as the service phone number, internet sales phone number, and dealer website are all editable. Any non-editable items that are not underlined will need to be changed at Nissan HQ master file level. If the submit button is grayed out, you may not have editing rights, so contact and submit any changes to your DOM. Next slide. In the CRM settings, dealers are able to select their CRM for their store. Pretty self-explanatory. Next slide, please. In the event a dealership needs to adjust their hours of operations, this can be done with the dealer information section. There, they can select the hours of operations tab to adjust their sales and service hours. Once they've adjusted those hours, they click submit on the lower right-hand corner. Keep in mind, this will only update the dealership's hours in Nissan USA. Any changes on their website will have to be managed by their website vendor. Next slide. Dealers can also change what holidays their dealership will be open. This can be done within the dealer information section as well. There, they can select the holidays tab to select or deselect their holidays. This is also important because if the dealership is in fact closed that day, but they did not update NABR and it shows them as open that day, the clock will still be running. Therefore, it will affect their overall lead metrics. Next slide. Dealers can also quickly look at their dealership certification level by clicking on Lead Certifications tab found within Dealer Information. The lead certification details will indicate their dealership's certification level for each quarter. Next slide. Under the lead settings sections found in Dealer Tools, dealers can activate or deactivate their Nissan third-party leads. This is where they can also adjust the dealership's monthly volume of third-party leads that they'd like to receive within a given month. They can also adjust the max distance of those third-party leads from outside their PMA. Next slide. Requesting lead credit is the process of requesting credit for bad or duplicate leads, or NABR will provide the dealerships with newer, fresher leads in exchange for the bad ones. This process is important because it can potentially affect their closing percentage, and that could be the tipping point of whether or not they are level 1 certified or level 2 certified, which will determine the bottom dollar amount that they will pay. In order to make changes, the dealer must insert their personal information, enter the lead ID found within the lead details, and enter the disposition of why it is a bad lead. There's also a button to add additional bad leads if they need to submit several. Below are the requirements for the Nissan brand and third-party duplicate leads. As a reminder, you have the 5th of every new month to submit any bad leads from the previous month. And make sure to not forget to hit the submit button when finished. And with that, I'll go ahead and pass it back to Ryan Cox to close us out.
All right, thank you, Peter. So to finalize, we're talking about accessing NABR reporting. This is important, obviously, for a DOM. At times, you're going to want to be able to manipulate this data and look at it and cross-reference it across multiple stores. So in the lead reporting section or the lead summary section, a few things you need to do: make sure the data is correct, make sure that you have it set with what parameters you're looking for as far as locations. Make sure that your source type is correct. You can change out what leads you're wanting to look at specifically. And finally, this 3 button there at the bottom there under summary data on the right side of the screen, it will click on that and Excel will pop up. Likewise, if you look at the sales reporting tab, same process. Make sure all those parameters are correct. Click here in the benchmark section, bring up Excel. Once you do that, it will bring the file down to the bottom left of your computer screen. Click on that and up will pop your Excel file, and you can manipulate the data however you see fit. With that in mind, Here are the contact email addresses. Please make note they have changed as of June 15th. CDK no longer, it is Synchro now. And also, likewise, the contact information for your DMC here is available. We'd like to thank you so much for joining us today. If there's any details that we missed that you need to know about NABR, please reach out to your DMC and we'll be glad to help you sync to region. Have a great day.